Another huge victory for the Rams. Thursday night football versus the San Francisco 49ers. We have a lot to get into about this game, so let's get right into it on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Hinon. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Subscribe. It is free, costs you nothing. We have 9% of you guys who watch the videos who are subscribed, 91% of you who watch and are not subscribed. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right here, right now before we continue. That way you don't miss any daily Rams content here on the Rams Digest. But like I said, a whole lot for us to get into as the Rams go ahead and have a huge Rams victory Thursday night football versus San Francisco 49ers. We didn't really get a prediction video out for you guys, unfortunately, right before the game started. I really wanted to get one out because I wanted to talk about and predict what I thought was going to happen. I've been pretty good on my prediction so far. I don't want to say what I would have said because obviously it's a little bit unfair looking back now, but I genuinely thought this was a really good opportunity for the Rams going against the 49ers, a team that, again, of course, difficult, division rivalry. Those games can always get kind of rocky in San Francisco. A rain game that I didn't really expect to be rainy, but I did expect to be a little cold. Rain, cold, ugly defensive game, but at the end of the day, the Rams come away with the victory. They come out on top, and let's get into it right off the rip. 12-6 was the final score. Nothing but field goals, no touchdowns scored in this game, but you see the record there. The Rams improved to 8-6 on the season as the 49ers fall to 6-8. Of course, division game, so that matters a lot more when we're talking about the winning your division, right? For the Los Angeles Rams, you're competing with the Niners, you're competing with the Arizona Cardinals. You want to beat these teams in the last few times you're going to match up with them, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Cardinals. You played all three of them moving forward, at least right now that we got the Niners game taken care of. But we knew this ahead of time. We were going to be able to have an opportunity to play all three teams moving forward. You got to get all of these games for sure, including some of the other games you're playing against other teams, right? But like the New York Jets coming up. But, of course, the Niners game, very, very huge game for you to kind of start to break away from the 49ers, give them a little bit of less hope in terms of their season moving forward. I will say the Niners, of course, they had their opportunity with Dre Greenlaw coming back and obviously Bobby Wagner, their linebacker duo, kind of just really playing really well together with Hufanga, their safety, all together, all around. A really great defense, a really great defensive team that just came out ready to play on Thursday. Cold game, easy maybe you can say to kind of slow down offenses. I don't know if it's easy ever to slow down an NFL offense, but definitely these games you expect to be kind of low scoring. But man, really, really tough game. Both defenses, I think, deserve a lot of credit here in today's game, just really slowing down the other team. And I mean, the 49ers, again, when you have Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga and Bobby Wagner playing along, Bobby Wagner. Why am I saying Bobby Wagner? I'm not talking about Bobby Wagner. I'm talking about Fred Warner. Just thrown off for a second. But when you have Fred Warner out there alongside Dre Greenlaw, that duo is so fast. I mean, every time I've seen a San Francisco 49ers defense with those two guys in the field, they're just flying all over the place, especially with Hufanga on the back end and their corners doing their job. Defensive line, of course, incredibly stacked. It's just a really good defense, right? And so this was their first time, I think, this season, in my opinion, from what I've seen from the Niners, looking like that great 49ers defense we've been so accustomed to the last few years. But it still wasn't enough to completely slow down the 49ers, and you have to give credit to the Los Angeles Rams defense. We've been talking about this all year long. You're a young defense, a lot of names that maybe people don't recognize as household names, but guys who are stepping up, ready to play, slowing down a potent offense, an offense that we're used to scoring a lot of points. Now, of course, they are banged up themselves. No Trent Williams, no Christian McCaffrey, no multiple running backs, right? You're on Isaac Guerendo as running back. Deebo Samuel not looking like himself. George Kittle still there, but, that's all they kind of have receiver-wise. No Ayuk. You're talking about, Juwan Jennings, who's been playing pretty well this season, but, enough about the Niners. The Rams did what they had to do to win the game. I don't care how ugly it was. We talk about this with the Buffalo Bills game. Okay, your defense didn't look that great, giving up 42 points to Josh Allen. It doesn't matter. You won the game. And now going into this game, your offense doesn't look too great. Your defense flips it and decides to play evenly just as well as the 49ers defense to slow them down to just 6 points on the night. Incredible performance from the defense, incredible performance, and good enough performance from the offense. And I want to pull this up real quick because I want to show you guys. Obviously, this is a quick little story from ESPN talking about the Rams win and how it propels the Rams closer to top of the NFC West. But if you look at this screenshot I pulled up, we have a quick little clip of ESPN as they were discussing the game versus the 49ers. ESPN Analytics had 49ers as a 61% chance to beat the Rams. The Rams won 6 of the last 8 games after starting 1-4. And Isaac Rendo limited in practice Wednesday. Just a couple random notes. But I did want to pull out specifically that 49ers 61% chance to win. That's what ESPN Analytics had to say about the game. So even though the Niners aren't at full strength, they didn't look as strong as they've looked in the past few years. They still were a favorite, right? In San Francisco, a hard place to win, a good fan base that supports their team pretty well. And the Rams went into San Fran, cold, rain game, did what they had to do to win the game. Impressive win from the Rams. And I think you do have to acknowledge one of the top things that we want to talk about is that fact right here, right? Well, we'll talk about the fact that I was going to bring up after this. I forgot what order I have these screenshots in. Ryan Clark coming out and saying on Twitter, Sean McVay's ability to keep the Rams locker room together the past 2 years after tough starts has been remarkable. We often talk about his X's and O's prowess, but I think sometimes we understate his leadership qualities. And I've talked about this, right? I've said this here on the channel here, the Rams Digest. You have to give Sean McVay his credit. Some people get frustrated, the X's and O's, the red zone offense, whatever you want to do. The fact that he's gotten this team when they were 1-4 to wake up, to stay connected, stay together, even when they were 6-6, right? That's still not the best of records. And for them to stay connected, stay together, continue to play hard every single week in and week out, you got to give Sean McVay his credit. He is an incredible leader, and he's been leading this team to consistently last few years, consistently put that same effort forward every single game, regardless of their record, regardless of who they're playing, regardless of who they're missing on the field. And it has shown and has been incredibly worked well, right? It's shown that, you never know what's going to happen. Keep playing hard, and all of a sudden the Rams are in a position right now where they could possibly win the division. We'll talk about those odds moving forward as we get on with the video. Moving on to this is what I was going to talk about with the screenshot that I had seen previously. 1-4 to start the season, first 5 games, 7-2 the last 9 games for Los Angeles Rams. They're getting hot, like ESPN says here, or SportsCenter says here. They're getting hot when it matters most, and it's very, very impressive to see. Again, of course, you need the Cooper Kupps of the world, you need the Puka Nacuas of the world. Even though Cooper Kupp didn't have the best game tonight, Puka Nacua stepping up when it matters most. I mean, that first quarter catch against the defender's helmet, doing things every single week that we've just have to be in awe at every single time with Puka Nacua. It's so incredible to see him as this young receiver just being impressive every single time he steps on the field. Got to give the Rams credit for finding this guy in the 5th round. But in general, the Rams are doing a great job continuing to win as of late. The last 9 games, 7-2. Just absolutely remarkable. Exactly what you needed, exactly what you hoped for if you're a Rams fan. We are at some point, we're talking about trading Cooper Kupp. At some point, talking about possibly trading Matthew Stafford. Again, small rumors, not that all Rams fans were wanting that, but that was some rumors that we had seen from legitimate sources. And yet, here we are, sitting at a point, 8-6, possibly going to win your division. Still a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong, but a very good position for the Rams to be in as of right now. As we move on and talk about the standings here of the NFC West, we have the Seahawks 8-5, the Rams 8-6, Cardinals 6-7, and the 49ers 6-8. Again, we just had the Rams last game versus the 49ers, but they will face the Cardinals and the Seahawks twice, or one each, and for the rest of the remainder of the season. So very, very exciting to see that the Rams have their future ahead of them. They have opportunities ahead of them to go ahead and not give these teams a chance. If they just do their job and win those games, and even beat, maybe win out and beat the New York Jets. Of course, that's a hopeful thinking, but very doable, right? Something that they can actually do. Something that's a very achievable goal to win the next 3 games for the Rams. And you win the game. You win the division. I think that's all it really takes for the Rams. So very exciting stuff. The Rams are doing incredible things and doing their job when it matters most, I think, and that's very important to note here. As we move on to talking about the Rams' remaining schedule, you got the New York Jets coming up next Sunday. Not this coming Sunday, of course. They have the kind of mini bye coming off of a Thursday night football game. They will play the Jets Sunday, December 22nd, 10 a.m. And then we're talking about the Cardinals versus the Rams, December 29th. And then the Seahawks versus the Rams, January 5th. Again, those games could be flexed to Saturdays, obviously, as the season gets to an end. That's why they are TBD at the moment. But exciting stuff here for the Rams. Do your job. Win these next 3 games. You're probably winning your division. I think, as far as I know, it's pretty likely that you're going to take care of business. If you take care of business, you're in. And that's what it seems like for the Rams. So very, very good opportunity lies ahead. And I just want to note this here just so everyone can see. We have the Seahawks remaining schedule. If you guys want to hate watch for the rest of the season, we have Packers versus Seahawks. You could be diehard Packers fans for a night. Sunday Night Football, December 15th. We'll check out that game. Obviously, you want to see the Seahawks lose that game to make the path a little easier for the Rams. But that January 5th game is the most important one. And we can stay here and we'll move on to the next screenshot here as we have the Cardinals remaining schedule. Patriots, Cardinals. You want to hate watch this Sunday. We're rooting for the Patriots this Sunday to make the pressure die off a little bit for the Rams. But at the end of the day, you still got the December 29th game versus the Cardinals. That's an important game to win. You win that game, you probably, again, are in the playoffs. Sorry, I pulled up the wrong screenshot again. So that's where we're at with the Los Angeles Rams. Very, very exciting stuff. Again, huge win versus San Francisco 49ers. We can all relax. We can all breathe a little bit. Puka Nacua on a slow offensive game helped my one fantasy team that's in the playoffs, helped us win or at least be in a solid position to potentially win my fantasy football game. A really slow offensive game making me nervous, Puka Nacua, but he ended up doing enough for me to feel a little comfortable where I'm at in my fantasy football matchup as well. So exciting stuff all around in real life and in fantasy if you're talking to me or any Puka Nacua manager out there. Moving on to the next bit of news before we end the video. It's a quick little downfall of the 49ers story here. I did want to bring this up because I thought it was a little interesting. Just something that I feel like I had to acknowledge, even though we're all Rams fans here talking about the Rams on the Rams Digest. I did want to mention this story a little bit. I want you guys to see and tell me what you guys think. As we have a Niners scorning selfish Devondre Campbell's refusal to play. Very, very interesting story here. Now, I will say, you're talking about Dre Greenlaw. I think he ended up actually stepping out of the game for a while with his knee, saying he said he felt a little uncomfortable with his knee. But he looked incredible. He looked excited to play. He looked ready to play. He looked like he was playing in the Super Bowl, just a dog, playing really hard for the 49ers on defense. And but a very important depth piece for the 49ers on defense, Devondre Campbell, in the third quarter, stopped playing and essentially told the coaching staff, supposedly, I don't want to play anymore. I'm done. I'm tired of this. Whatever. I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. And he went. And I'm a retire situation of just I'm not feeling like playing tonight anymore. And a very interesting story. I mean, you can twist this any ways you want. I know some Ram fans will want to do that. Maybe say the Rams beat them into submission to a point where they're making players quit on the sideline. But ultimately, a very interesting story here. And of course, I don't want to make too many crazy jokes. I do want to hope that Devondre Campbell is okay. But it seems like the 49ers themselves are pretty upset with him. Not necessarily a situation where they're trying to be cautious or trying to be nice about the situation and not trying to say, oh, well, he's dealing with something, so that's why. Everyone seems to be on the same page of this was not cool, not what they expected, not what they wanted out of their linebacker and Devondre Campbell. We actually have a quote here from George Kittle himself, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. He says, it's one person making a selfish decision. I've never been around anybody that's ever done that, and I hope I'm never around anybody who does that again. In my opinion, I could take that as he's essentially saying, I don't even want to be around this guy anymore. 49ers, please cut this guy. And he actually asked Shanahan after the game what he thought about the situation, what happened, is he going to get cut? And Shanahan just simply said, we don't know yet. So he didn't just say, deny, no, that's not going to happen. It's a little extreme. We'll figure it out. It was more like, we don't know. I don't know yet. Let me just, we'll figure this out as we go along. And I think it's a very interesting situation. Just kind of a small, again, I mentioned this earlier in the season. It's always fun to kind of see your division rival kind of crash and burn a little bit. They were hopeful that if they win this game, they had a chance to possibly win a division. Rams go ahead and crush those dreams a little bit in San Francisco. Send those San Francisco 49ers fans a little bit home, a little bit sad. And it's always fun to see that. So that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. If you guys have any thoughts, go ahead and hit me up in the comments or just subscribe to the channel to show us that you support the Rams Digest and want to see more daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Josh Giron. That's going to do it for me, and I'm out.